There are many Republicans who have pushed back. I want to move on to the threat, the idea of tariffs on auto imports. Many Republican leaders, Bob Corker to name one, unhappy, unsettled by that. But to try and use the rationale citing national security as a reason for auto tariffs is a stretch based on everyone I have talked to, Hogan. This is something that, one, the majority of cars that are sold here in the United States are made here in the United States, whether it's by a Toyota or a Nissan or Ford or Chevy. And you're talking about raising the price on an automobile of thousands of dollars potentially for Americans, and you're using national security as a reason to look into these auto tariffs, but then you're at least seemingly willing to give ZTE a pass when that is a legitimate national security and espionage threat.
Listen, Dagan, you are getting way ahead of anything announced or anything put into effect.
That's true.
These are all
you've
talks,
you've got at least 10 months that you've got to study this at the Commerce Department in terms of using national security to put auto tariffs in place.
Absolutely, and the president is again, prudently taking a look at this, something that politicians haven't touched for decades. I mean, look, we wouldn't even be talking about protecting the American worker and leveling the playing field, free, fair, and reciprocal trade had it not been for Donald Trump. Politicians have given lip service to this for decades. This president comes into office and says, look, we have to protect the American worker. I'm going to move heaven and earth to make sure that happens. He hadn't put forth any plan in definitive tone yet. What he said is, take a look at some of these things. How can we level the playing field? We're hundreds of billions of dollars in trade deficits to China. We have to look at a way to protect our people here in this country, have free, fair, and reciprocal trade. The president asked the Secretary of Commerce to take a look at many ideas to how to make that happen, and that's the only place we are right now. Nothing's been put into place at this point.
Well, I asked Ed Rollins, he was on at the top of the hour about this, and I know you know Ed as well. And Ed was very complimentary on the president in terms of what he has been able to accomplish. He promises things on the campaign trail and then delivers them. Ed said, promises made, promises kept should be his slogan for 2020. However, I asked Ed about that. I said, the president was very clear and has been very clear about trade. But in terms of what we've been able to accomplish, you've got infighting on the economic team. You have what looks like a mess in some ways. The Wall Street Journal has an editorial about it today, but the China policy is all over the place. NAFTA, the negotiations there haven't gotten done. That's in jeopardy. We have the steel and aluminum tariffs, which caused uproar among many businesses here in this country, then at least the threat of an auto tariff. And I asked Ed about the communications coming out of the White House, and here's what Ed had to say, and I want to get your reaction to that.
The biggest weakness of this White House to date, other than the president himself, has been the communication shop. They still haven't got that resolved yet, and it's been months and months. And so everybody's kind of a freelancer. Everybody goes out, and the bookers call them, and they go on the shows, and they don't think about what they're saying, and they talk too long, and they don't talk off a script. This needs to be a very scripted administration.
In part, I was referencing when the steel and aluminum tariffs were announced. That does hurt businesses in this country. And you had the Commerce Secretary holding up Campbell's soup cans on national television. What do you say to that, Hogan?
Look, I know I've known Ed for a long time, and I appreciate Ed as a friend. But look, you can't be on the outside of this building and make accusations about the way we do things on the inside when you have no idea of actually what's going on. This president has had record-setting accomplishments in record-setting time, regardless of 91% negative coverage. And the media would rather cover palace intrigue over policy every day of the week. And so we're putting out a record-setting the last 2 weeks with bringing back detainees from North Korea, getting out of an Iran deal, the embassy move to Jerusalem, the VA choice plan, the Title X funding, all the things we've accomplished in a whirlwind couple of weeks, and people would rather focus on palace intrigue. Listen, the president has put a great team around him.
I'm no insider. I am the skunk at the picnic, okay? I don't know what's going on, but I do sit on the outside, and everything you went through, I have said repeatedly. I've said it on this network, and I've said it on the Fox News channel. However, from being a business reporter for 25 years, I watch how the messaging has been on trade, which is so critical to the president's agenda.
Sure.
And it's been haphazard and ham-handed, my opinion.
Right. Well, that's your opinion, and that's fine. But listen, we don't have any set things in concrete and stone yet for these people to be up in arms about. These are ideas. These are things that could affect our national security in some of the mechanisms he's talking about. Some are just broader U.S.-China relations. Look, these are delicate negotiations. The president understands the intricacies of those negotiations and also what he needs to do to protect the American people. He has the best team around him to bring in ideas, to argue about those ideas. Absolutely, they're spirited because they affect millions of American people, our partners and allies around the world. Those are important things and issues we face every day. We have the best team here at the White House. We're going to get it done for the American people. The president will have nothing less.
All right. Hogan, real quick, Robert De Niro has banned President Trump from all his sushi restaurants. I just want your quick reaction to that.
Look, I don't think the president's planning on attending a dinner at Nobu anytime soon. Look, Hollywood people grandstand all the time. They're elitists. They don't know anything about what this president's doing for the American people and could care less. I saw the report, and, you know, whatever. He can do what he wants. It's his business. He can do what he wants. The president has great dinners here at the White House, and quite frankly, he could go to any of his many properties around the country and globe. He's not going to stop in Nobu anytime soon.
Hogan, I just love how these left-wing celebrities, they can't stop talking about the president. If they dislike him so much, then move on. Use that big mouth to, like, help raise money for charities. Do some good with it.
They're so anti-discrimination unless it comes to diversity of thought. And then they don't want anything to do with Republicans or this president who's done so much more for the American people than Barack Obama ever thought about doing. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Hogan, thank you for talking to me this morning. It was great to see you. Hogan
Sure.
Gidley.
Thanks, Tegan.
All right. Be well.